Good morning, my mindful journey friends. Hey, today is the first week of August. I can't hardly believe it. So, we are going to be focusing on some of our mindful nutrition tips. And this week, I've been thinking a lot about how, how to overcome negative self body image. And a lot of us struggle with that. And I know for a lot of years that was something that I struggled with. And every now and again, I still have issues with that. And so I wanted to share with you today 3 tools that I use to pull myself out of that. And also these same tools I used when I was overcoming negative body image problems. So we kind of live in a world that is really shouting at us, constantly giving us messages that we're not good enough, that we're not thin enough, that we're not beautiful enough, and certainly that we can't handle ourselves around food, that we need a program in order to help us to lose excess weight because we can't trust ourselves to be able to do that on our own. And so I think that it's really important for us to learn techniques that we can combat all of those negative images and messages that we receive in and out from day to day. It doesn't even matter. We can be driving down the road and there's a billboard that's talking about to come in and get this suctioned out and get this lasered off. And all of these things they sublimatively, however you say that word, they put into our minds, unconsciously, put into our minds that the way we are and who we are is not good enough. And I want to tell you that that simply is not true. You are beautiful. You are capable of reaching your mindful nutrition goals. You are capable of learning how to listen intuitively to what it is that your body needs. And that includes not only nutrition, but rest and relaxation. It includes being able to hydrate when your body needs, the water. It needs hydration. It needs movement. And so, all of these things, you are more than capable of learning how to fill your tool belt full of those tools that will help you to accomplish your goals and really to put off and shun those messages and images that are out there in the world that make you feel like you're not enough, that make you feel like you're not capable enough and that you can't trust yourself, because that simply isn't true. And if it feels true to you, if you look at your life and you seem to see evidence everywhere that contradicts what I've just told you, I want you to know that those are thoughts. That isn't a truth. Those are thoughts that can be changed, patterns of behavior that can be changed, because what we look for and what we focus on is what we see. It's what becomes our reality in our life. And so I want to help you today. I want to talk about 3 different ways to overcome those negative self-image things that you may be experiencing towards your body. And I have mentioned this before, but it is so true. We can be so hard on ourselves when things don't go quite the way we expect them to go, or they don't happen as fast as what we would like. And also times that we take credit or beat ourselves up for things that are out of our control, or things that another person is doing that we wish that we could help them change. And we can really start loading that stuff on us, and it weighs us down, and it makes us be in a place that is opposite of where you're trying to be with mindful living and mindful nutrition. And that is to feel confident in your body, in your mind, in your thoughts, in your actions from day to day. And so let's talk about these three things that I used personally to overcome those negative self-talk and image, and what I still use when I have those days that pop up and I just, boy, the person that I see in the mirror, I know is different than what the reality is, because your mind plays tricks on you. And so let's give you some tools today that are going to help you to be able to combat those negative things and be able to come to peace with your body, to feel good about it, to love it. And when you do that, my friends, it is only going to propel you forward in your goals, in being able to accomplish your goals. Because when you act out of love for yourself, when you act out of love for your body and appreciation for it, it will make all the difference in how you treat it and what you say to yourself. And so let's talk about those. The first thing is you need to recognize that your body is an amazing miracle. It is an amazing machine that functions day in and day out, doing things that you don't even have to consciously think about. So let's look at some of those. Your heart beats over 100,000 times a day, and you don't even have to think about it. We have over 600 muscles in our body that allow us to be able to lift heavy things, to move, to even give birth. There's a lot of things. There's even muscles within our digestive system that help that function well. And so over 600 muscles in our body. Think of all the bones and the joints and ligaments that work together in order to give you a more productive and joyful life. What about our breath? We talk a lot about breathing in mindful living, as in our meditations, and being able to focus on our breath as we calm ourselves down in stressful moments. Well, we have over 22,000 times that we breathe in and out in a single day. And most of the time, we're not even thinking about it. It is amazing when you start to recognize within yourself exactly what your body does for you. It will help you to appreciate it more. Now, how do you use this tool when you start thinking badly about yourself? Let me give you an example. Just so that you know that I have been in that place before. I have been well over 200 pounds in my lifetime, a couple of times, and I felt terrible about myself. One of the things that I did to combat that in recognizing what my body did was when I would look in the mirror and I would have a part of my body that I really didn't like. Okay, so let's say that day it was my legs, my thighs. Okay, that's a kind of a typical one that a lot of women struggle with. So instead of berating, as soon as I recognized that thought in my mind, instead of berating myself, what I would do is I would start listing off the things that my legs do. One, they're strong. I can run. I can bend down and greet my children. I can pick things up. I can, my goodness, I used to wrestle my boys on the floor when they were younger. We used to have leg wrestles, and I would win every time because my legs are powerful. So that's just an example of what you can do when you start to have those negative thoughts in your mind. Mindful living, one of the first things is awareness. So you become aware of your thinking and what your thoughts are. So when those negative thoughts start popping up about an area of your body that you are critical of, I want you to, in turn, switch that around and start thinking about the things that your body does for you, that body part. If it's your arms, what do your arms do for you? You can get things down off of a shelf. You can hug a loved one. Think about those positive things that your body does for you, and it will help. It will help. It will combat those negative things, and it will help you to be able to switch your thinking from what your body isn't doing for you or what you don't like about it to expressing gratitude for it. And that's the second thing. When you start to recognize and acknowledge what your body does for you, I want you to add gratitude. When I was going through that process of trying to change my body image and how I thought about myself, I would take opportunities at the end of the day when I climbed into bed at night, and I would start to think about the things that I had done through the day. And I specifically focused on what my body had done to enable me to get done the things that I wanted to, like being able to walk my children to school, or being able to work out in the garden, or be able to see the beauty that is around me and hear the birds and all of those things. So it wasn't necessarily a part of my body that I was discontented with or that I was having negative self-thoughts about. It was just being able to reflect on the things that my body had done for me during the day and express gratitude to God for it. Express gratitude for the fact that I have a body, that He gave me a body that I can care for, that cares for me, that takes care of me, that houses my spirit and allows me to be able to engage in my life and in the lives of my loved ones. And so gratitude is really a key element. When I'll give you another example. I had a really hard time with my stomach. And so when I would think about that, I would express gratitude for the fact that my stomach carried 4 beautiful babies. Isn't that a miracle? When you think about it, when you think about what your body has to do in order to create life, isn't it a miracle? And isn't it worth showing respect for your body and taking care of it and thinking well about it? When you think positively and you express gratitude for your body, it reacts kindly to you. It will move you forward. It will actually respond to you in positive ways because you are treating it lovingly and with respect. What happens? Just think about it for a minute. What is the difference between belittling yourself into accomplishing a goal? What good does it do to talk negatively and badly about yourself and shaming yourself if you do something that goes against your goal or goes against what you think you should be doing? I didn't stay on my plan today, and therefore tomorrow I'm going to starve myself. Or it just goes into a cycle and you just continue to binge and eat a bunch of junk food. Okay, so I want you to think really Really think about this. When you do that, is that showing respect and love and gratitude for this miraculous body that God has given you? No, it's not. So, what would be the difference if instead of doing that, because we all have times, and sometimes it's on a daily basis, this is a practice, right? This is something that we are learning how to do, to take better care of ourselves, to think better about ourselves. Okay, so the third thing that I want to talk to you about is compassion. Compassion goes a long way when we don't measure up to what our expectations are, or in times when our body is experiencing pain or illness or a disease, an injury. How would you react if your child or your grandchild or even a little neighbor kid came into you and they had injured themselves? Or they came to you and said, "Mom, I don't feel very good. I feel sick today." What would you do? Would you belittle them? Would you shame them? Would you give them a bunch of junk and say, "Here, this will make you feel better"? No, you wouldn't. You would love them. You would cuddle them up. You would take care of their injury. You would give them, wrap them up in a blanket and a pillow and get them some soup or something that would comfort them and that would help their bodies to be able to work on that healing process. Because that's another aspect of this amazing body, is it's capable of healing. It's not the doctor that heals a broken bone. It's your body that heals that broken bone. And so when you show compassion to yourself, it goes a long way in how you think about your body and what it does for you and what it's capable of. Let me give you another example. In 2020, I lost my mother to pancreatic cancer. Within a couple of weeks of that, I got COVID. And I got it really bad. It didn't affect my lungs, but it affected my nervous system. It affected my eyes and gave me uveitis. And so I did not have the strength to get myself off the floor after a family prayer. I didn't have the strength to walk around the block, or even one point, even from walking from room to room without someone helping me. I was so discouraged, and I felt like my body had betrayed me because I have eaten well. I've run a couple of half marathons and other races. I have always been active and tried to take care of myself. And it was a really, really, it was such a trial for me. But I used these 3 principles that I've talked to you about. One, recognizing the miraculous body that I have and knowing that my body was fighting against that bacteria, against that virus, against what was happening inside of my body that I had no control over. And so I recognized that. I recognized that my body was working. It was working hard to get better, and that I needed to be able to help it in that process, give it the best nutrition that I possibly could during that time, give it the water that it needed, give it the rest it needed. Because even though in my mind I wanted to get up and I wanted to do things, I wasn't capable of doing that right then. And it took me over 1.5 years to be able to get my strength up. I was only able to lift a 3-pound weight and it felt like 20. And I just cried because I thought, what has happened to me? But I used these tools I recognized what my body was trying to do and that it was capable of healing. I would visualize every night when I climbed into bed, my body healing. I visualized myself being better. I visualized myself being able to lift those weights again, being able to walk around the block, do my regular walking routine that I do in the morning. I visualized it in my head. I felt it. It became real to me. And so every morning when I woke up and I still felt lousy, I would visualize that. My body is getting better. And I would say it over and over again. And I am so grateful that my body is fighting this. I know it's capable of doing it. I'm going to give it the respect that it needs. I'm going to pay attention to what my body needs. And at that time, it was a lot of rest. It was a lot of sleep. I needed like 10 hours of sleep a night. And that was for a long time. So what I'm saying is there are lessons to be learned in times when we feel like our body is betraying us. There are things that can help us in those moments to draw really, really close to God. Because we need Him. We need Him in those moments. What are you doing if you go for a period of time and you've been trying to lose that excess body weight and you've been trying to do what you feel is the right thing to do? Are you being compassionate to yourself? Are you being able to listen to what your body needs and give it the nourishment, the rest, the movement, the positive thoughts about who your body is? Your body is capable. My dear friends, your body is capable of being able to take care of that excess weight. So listen to it, respond. Give yourself compassion in the process of learning how to do this. Okay? It isn't something that you're going to be perfect in today or even tomorrow. There is no end destination to this journey. This is a lifelong journey of learning about yourself. It opens up the pathway of discovery as to who you are and what works best for you. So, I want to give you one quick more experience that I witnessed. When my son and my daughter-in-law went down to the state Special Olympics swimming meet, it's quite humbling to watch those kids. A lot of them are adults, but there was one young man. He was paraplegic, and he swam in that competition. He had floaters around his legs, around his arms. He had his coach that was right by him the whole time, and he swam in the little tiny kiddie pool. And when that bell went off for him to start, he kicked his legs. He kicked his legs and his arms, and he worked his darndest to be able to get from one end to the other. Now, how do you think that young man felt about his body that day? He got out of that water and raised his arms and had the biggest smile on his face because he had accomplished something that other people would have said was impossible to do. Now, most of us are not facing those kinds of challenges. But it's what's going on up here. that makes all the difference. And when you can change that, and you can start to acknowledge what your body does for you, to give it the compassion that it needs, to express gratitude to God for the fact that you even have a body, that you can get up every day and take another breath and embrace your loved ones and treat it with compassion and respect. It makes all the difference in the foods you eat, the way that you exercise, the way that you think about yourself, and the way that you interact with other people. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do today that will be different? That will be different for you so that you can love that miraculous gift that God has given you. You are beautiful. You are enough. You are capable. You have the power within you to create the life that you want, to be the person that you want to be. It is within you. It is within your grasp. I have confidence in you. I know you can do it because I've been there. I know what that feels like. And it's a terrible place to be. It's a terrible battle. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. So, my dear friends, I'm here to help you if you would like some help. On these platforms, I teach and talk very generally because I've got a wide audience that I'm speaking to. But if you would like some personal help, where I can work one-on-one with you, with your eating habits, with the way that you think about yourself and your body, and the way that you think about food, I can help you. Just contact me. Let's talk about it. I've got a special going on for August, the end of the summer, that you can get 25% off any of my services. And there is always the free 30-minute consultation. All you need to do is go over to my website, Mindful Journey Studio. You can contact me there. There's links to my emails, to my YouTube channel. And let's talk. Let's help you. Let's get you out of that place and get you onto something that is more beautiful and positive in how you think about yourself and how you treat yourself. Okay? Well, that's enough for today. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be posting on YouTube. I will be posting some meditations that will be helpful in this regard, as far as how you think about yourself and how you think about your body, and mindful nutrition. So keep an eye out for those. You can go over to my YouTube channel under Mindful Journey Studio and take a look at those. They're not very long, and they'll be beneficial for you in helping you to change the way that you think. So take care, my friends. Have a beautiful day. And next time, remember, quiet the mind, nourish the body, and enliven the soul. Bye, my friends.